Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In name of Allah, our honorable guests, peace be upon you all. On behalf of His Excellency Dr. Jamal Sanad al-Suwaidi, the head of ACRSS, we would like to welcome you today on this lecture, which will be about the Saudi-UAE relation in light of shared challenges, which will be delivered by His Excellency Turki bin Abdullah Al-Dakhil, the Ambassador of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to the UAE. His Excellency, he is the Ambassador to the UAE, and that was according to the decree in 2018. He worked in the media for the last 3 decades. He worked in the print, radio, television, and online journalism. He was the general manager for Al Arabiya and had a television channel from January 2015 to January 2019. His Excellency Al-Dakhil holds an MA in Islamic Studies from Maqasid University in Beirut. And also, among the many awards he has given, in 2014, he received the America Abroad Media Award in Washington for his effort to develop civil society and promote tolerance and gender equality, protecting minority rights. In 2015, he was given the Arab Social Media Influencer Awards media category in the Social Media Influencers Summit in Dubai. As one of the most influencers in social media, and 2016, His Excellency was awarded the UNESCO Changing Perception Award in partnership with 6 global institutions during a ceremony honoring heroes of a global campaign against violence extremism in New York, which took place on the sidelines of 71st sessions of UN General Assembly. He was honored for his effort to give hope to victims of extremisms, particularly in promoting human rights, women's rights, education, and tolerance, and taking a stand against fanatism and hate. His Excellency Al-Dakhil has written several books and studies. He has published articles in a number of newspapers and magazines. Note, tonight we will have only a lecture for His Excellency, and we apologize that there is no discussions and intervention because of our guests' commitments. So, Your Excellency, you are welcome, and we hope you will give us a very interesting lecture. So you are welcome. Thank you very much for this introduction, and also for your warm voice. So I am very happy to be with you. We need a lot of this man. Just for questions, I'm ready to coordinate with Dr. Al-Suwaidi and with the center so we can hold an open discussion for the questions. But unfortunately today I have got a commitment, so we are very tight in time. I apologize to you, I need to stand to the podium. When we speak about the UAE-Saudi relations, 2 days ago, these relations celebrated the Borders Memorandum in 1974 between His Highness Sheikh Zayed and also Prince Fahd of Abdulaziz. May his soul all rest in peace. So from 1974 till now, this is the history of signed memorandums, but for real relations that go back to the 60s and 70s. And before I start, I would like to thank you very much for your kind attendance for today's lectures in this very important research center in the UAE. So I'm very proud to be here, as this center is considered one of the most important centers in the Middle East, and Dr. As-Suwaidi did a great effort to improve this center in the UAE. And as you know, there isn't such centers in the region. So thank you very much for your effort and for your attendance, hoping my lecture will be very interesting for you. In the 60s, King Faisal of Abdulaziz, he sent a message to the Prince of Kuwait, so to form with Kuwait a council to coordinate between the 9 countries council, the Union, and the 7 Emirates, which is, and also Al-Bahrain also, and Qatar. The delegate, the Kuwaiti Saudi delegate, went through the 9 Emirates and also held the meetings in a recorded meetings in order to reach to the union, which formed in 1971, which was led by His Highness Sheikh Zayed, may his soul rest in peace. Regarding the relations, we can say the relations start and also is based on economical, social foundations that is dated to the beginning years of the Union and forming the UAE. And as we said, there was a committee between Saudi and Kuwait to help the 9 Emirates Union, so at the end formed as to be the UAE. Here in the picture we can see King Faisal bin Abdulaziz and also His Highness Sheikh Zayed, may their souls rest in peace. The relations documented with the different formal correspondence between the Saudi Arabia and also His Highness Sheikh Zayed, and also the meeting minutes which happened in the different committees, the Saudi Kuwaiti committees, and also the rurals of the UAE before and after the union. So it was clear after the 60s, so we strengthened the relationship, and now we can see the coordination in 1973 and how the Arab world won against the Israeli violation, and also following the invasion led by Iraqi former President Saddam Hussein, and got liberated in 1991. And the United position in 2011, uprising Arab countries, a position that helped consolidate the stability in face of chaos. So in history, we can see many situations where there was a critical events, and also this relation helped a lot in 1973. And also the liberation of Kuwait after the invasion of former Iraqi Saddam Hussein. and standing in front the chaos organization in order to save the stability of the countries. So facing these chaos organizations, and we can see how the Abu Dhabi and Riyadh stood in front of everybody who wanted to have chaos in the region. Both countries, they are facing and fighting terrorism, and that is based on the strong relationship. So they are working together against the different projects in order to disseminate the countries, and also they work together in the decisive storm. Also, economically, we have got high coordination between both countries in the economy, and also both of them, they are facing the different regional challenges in order to support the international stability. I was noting to the people in the library that there is a memorandum that hasn't been announced yet between the foreign ministers, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that Saudi Arabia will represent UAE, where there is no embassies for UAE in order to serve the Emirati citizens, and vice versa. So where there is Emirati consulate and there is no Saudi consulate, UAE consulate can help the Saudi citizens. The philosophy of the coalition, the memory that formed the Saudi Arabia and UAE, and also they have got common areas geographically and also socially. One of this is the coalition between the Saudi and Emirati coalition in order to overcome the challenges. So there is a tribe representation in both countries. Both countries make sure to invest the values of the tribe in the different coalitions that happens. Not to create fights, but to overcome the fights, in order to avoid any problems because of the tribe spirit. So this is considered one of the targets. Both countries also, they have got tribal correlations based on morals, and we have got very important leaders. When we think about the UAE history, like the Abu Dhabi Emirates, there is a main character, Zayed the First, which considered one of the most important character in the history. And in Saudi Arabia also, we have got Imam Turki bin Abdullah, who we can affiliate to him the family of King Abdulaziz, the former, Abdulaziz bin Abdurrahman Al Saud. So we have got a moral foundation, for example, like Sheikh Zayed in UAE in the modern era, and the same also as Saudi Arabia was formed on the hand of Saudi ibn Abdulaziz. So these two leaders, they were aspirational leaders, and also attract many of the people in these regions. So the style of forming the countries in the region, talking about the GCC in all countries except some, is based on wars between tribes. So the win will be for the winner between these tribes. So how they used to overcome on these fights when they have social coalitions, like wedding between the tribes. For example, the enemy of yesterday, maybe he is the aliens for today. So the family tribes together overcome these fights. Also the new agreements. By this, the tribes manage to get rid of all the fights between them. Also, these two models managed in a smart way to form their countries, and it was led to the Council of Coordination between Saudi Arabia and Emirates, which have integration between Abu Dhabi and Riyadh. This council has got partnership and patronage under the patronage of the senior leadership, like Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and also His Highness the Deputy Commander Mohammed bin Zayed. Both parties signed in the 16th of May 2016 a memorandum in As-Salam Palace in Jeddah, and they have got a special meeting. It's called the Decisive Meeting, where it was attended by more than 150 employees from the government and experts in the different governmental sectors and private sector, where they talked about different areas, about different ideas, and also shared and negotiated in order to form different coalitions, and also both projects that's based for the interests of both countries, and also to serve the region, which both countries, they are major players in the Middle East. Also, this council draw a map, a common map that increase competitiveness, positive competitiveness in both relationships. In the 13th of April 2017, Riyadh hosted the second annual meeting for the Decisive Meeting. It used to be first called Decisive Meeting, but after that it was called a Council for Coordination. More than 200 employees from both countries attended, and on the 7th of June 2018, they held the first meeting for the coordination meeting, led by His Excellency, by Mohammed bin Zayed, His Highness, and also Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And they followed with the different reports and showed many success in these regards for this council. For the economical relationship, that's very important. For me as an ambassador for Saudi Arabia, and also by the visits from the different economical entities, governmental or private, we focused with our brothers in the UAE, in addition to the importance of relations in politics, but we want these relations not only to be based on politics, but also on economy. We want to have a real partnership for the common interest. Any relation, if there is no one relation or winning, or if any party felt that he is not benefiting in the next stage, that will end the relations and will not be a positive relation. For that, I always confirm for the Emirati party that we would like to form a relation, but competitive relations that to give you a strategic interest. If it's fulfill this goal, let's go for it. If you don't think that you will benefit from this relation, so don't go forward with it. So if you don't think that the Saudi partner is working for the UAE interest, don't go for it, because we want the Saudi partner to be compete for the interest of the UAE. The goal from this idea, talking about the Saudi side, the Emirati side, to be ready and to also to sustain the continuity of this coordination, and that also proved to us that this is not only about the compliment in the media, but also we want the relationship to be real on the ground, to have a reality and interest. The commercial exchange in 2018, 38.4 billion dirham, and it's considered the fourth partner for UAE. In 2017, UAE formed. UAE was the third partner exporting goods for the Saudi Arabia after USA and China, according to the Saudi Statistics Organization. So UAE is leading the GCC countries exporting to Saudi Arabia, and as we said, it's after USA and China. In 2018, we haven't seen the statistics till now to base our speaking. The investment, Saudi investment in the UAE exceeded 35 billion, working here more than 23,000 companies and 66 commercial agencies. We have got also here in the country around 114 projects, Emirati projects in Saudi Arabia, and 206 Saudi projects in UAE. And that gives us an indication about the depth of the relationship, and also the political and senior leadership determination to benefit both sides from this coordination. So it's about mutual interest. Tourism also is very important in strengthening the commercial links, and Saudi Arabia benefited a lot from UAE experience in the tourism field. A few months ago, more than 13 or 15 ministers visited UAE in order to see the Emirati experience about the visa tourists. Regarding one of the most important relation between the countries is facing the Islam politics, and also facing terrorism. So some people, when they call the Islamists, these people who are taking Islam in order to spread their bad ideas. In Islam, there is minor political side, but using Islam in order to reach the goal, here is the problem. And here we will talk about the in Islam in politics. We have got different organizations like the Brotherhood movement, and we have got also the Shia one, like Hezbollah, Houthi, and the different Iraqi political parties, if you look at the core of it, it's like a copy from the Islamic Brotherhood. There is a murshid, a leader or imam. They avoid the nationalism, and they focus more where the person is affiliated to the organization. Even in Afghanistan, he is more important to me even if he is my neighbor in the UAE, because he is sharing the same ideology. So these Islamic movements and their supporters, and here we can see sometimes they are countries, as you may know, they try to benefit from the events of 2011, and even some of them, they organized these chaos. For example, like youth clubs in these chaos organizations in order to form this chaos. So they benefited from 2011 by forming the chaos and giving area for this organization to play and invest in sabotaging the Arab countries. For that, we needed other parties to stand in order to reflect the strength of the country, and to explain to the others, it's not about the freedom of personality, it's about forcing or forming chaos in the region and destroying the country organizations, and after that building on what's remaining from the country. So they are chaos movements, they are not national, they are not caring about the national interest. Here is the problem. For that, Abu Dhabi and Riyadh stood hard in supporting the Arab countries, and we can see how the central country in Baghdad, in Damascus, in Cairo, in Damascus, and how we can see there was classification, like the margin countries, or even the core countries, the north, the south, different classification for Arab countries. And sometimes these countries, they used to be called the margin countries, but in fact these countries supported, for example, in Tunisia, in Egypt, they supported these countries to stand in face of this chaos. So, for example, supporting our brothers in Bahrain, the coalition succeeded in breaking the chaos and achieving stability, like in Egypt after the revolution of 2013. In 2014, the world got surprised by ISIS, the new edition, and which wanted to say that we are the caliphs for Muslims. Another problem in the Arab body, and here we needed to stand hard in face of these movements in order not to damage our Arab values, our religion. This is the question which I wrote it in an article. We sweat while we are trying to answer our kids. Do these people represent our religion? Do they represent our values? Do we share with them the same values and religion with these people? It's not a secondary question. If we want to form a new generation and also to educate our future generations, we need to work hard in order to answer this question. These people, the people say we are Muslims, like ISIS. They say we are Muslims. So here is our duties to say that these people representing Islam or not, and to say they are the face of Islam internationally. We need to clarify to people, the person who is a member of in this movements, they don't get through it all of a sudden. There's a process. When I went to Washington in 2014, I said to the Foreign Affairs Minister, it's like a college. You can't join a college without primary, secondary, and preparatory stage. So the primary stage for ISIS is Islamic Brotherhood, and after that you get promoted till you reach the college. So when you join this movements, and the movements say we are peaceful, we are not violent, but in fact, who formed the political the army movement for this movement is Islamic Brotherhood, who assigned different Arab figures in the Arab world. They assassinated different Arab world figures. So Islamic Brotherhood was the incubator for these movements. The awareness of the Saudi Arabia and UAE, it's like a route in order to clean the area from such extremism. Both countries worked hard and formed the coalition, the international coalition, and they have a competency in their fighting these movements. So they were part of the international coalition. Saudi Arabia, we are close to finish. 1 minute is left, 2 minutes. Saudi Arabia led the CIFG in participation of USA and Italy, which is and also Saudi Arabia led by Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and UAE was one of the most important countries in the coalition. Saudi Arabia also worked hard with UAE in order to have tolerance and like, for example, in the summit, the 21st of May 2017, we have got different initiatives in order to have support for the tolerance in the country. Now we will talk about the decisive storm, which was led by Saudi Arabia and UAE. So decisive storm, which was declared by Saudi Arabia and worked here, the Saudi Arabia and Emirati. It's not about the integration in the military operation, but also in having different options to support the legitimacy in Yemen, in order to have a political solution for the conflict in Yemen. And here we can see Dr. Anwar Gargash speech about the Arab coalition in Yemen, and also Saudi Arabia, UAE is a strong and also strength the mechanism. So they are preparing very hard for the next stage with its political tools. The current war is very complicated. For example, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and Syria, and the coalition in Yemen, they achieved a lot of successes in order to change the different balance in the Arab region, and to form stability and to have sustainability. Before we end, I would like to indicate that in February 2017, Dr. Anwar Gargash said on Twitter talking about a lecture he attended in Abu Dhabi, the previous ambassador in London and Washington, that the founder Sheikh Zayed in the last days in the meetings they gathered them together. He always urged his sons in order to strengthen the relationship with Saudi Arabia. He said, Saudi Arabia is a strength and also a support for you if the war turned its back to you. So it's a strong relation. And within these foundations, we talk about the relations between Saudi Arabia and UAE, and talk about the common challenges to stand in front and face the bad movements around the world, and also to save and protect the Arab values. I would like to thank you very much for your attendance and for your kind interest. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the Ambassador, His Excellency Turki Al-Dakhil, for this abundant information and for this interesting lecture, which talked about the relation between Saudi Arabia and UAE. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Again, we would like, sorry to interrupt you. I am ready to answer any question when Dr. assigns, so we can open the discussion. So I would like to apologize to you that I have got a commitment to travel. Thank you very much. At the end of this lecture, and in name of Dr. Jamal Sanad Al-Suwaidi, the director of ACSSR, and we would like to thank His Excellency Turki bin Abdullah Al-Dakhil, the Ambassador of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to the UAE, and hoping to see you in other lectures, and thank you very much.